This is the realest show out.
You did the opposite of what I think most people do. Sometimes it can be kind of scary to just put yourself out there.
That's real. That's raw. That's exactly what we're looking for. We look forward to connecting with you guys on all of our social media platforms. The way to support us is to like and comment on all your favorite episodes. And please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications for the next Gut Check Uncut. My name is Todd Special and got B-Bisc in the house.
Brandon Bisky, as it's pronounced. Gut check.
Oh, wow. Your voice is pretty amazing.
I know.
Guys, we are so excited about this first guest ever on Gut Check. This guy is unbelievable, man. I'll be honest with you. I was nervous getting him on.
I know. We talked about it.
I was like, the first guest, we haven't even launched yet, and how the hell does this guy say yes to us? I mean, he is huge. His name is Evan Carmichael. He's authored 4 books, okay? The first book is The Top 10 Rules for Success. Next one is Built to Serve, then 254 Confidence, and your 5, and the 3-Point Landing Journal. He's got a YouTube channel that started with 29 people subscribed in 2009. Today, in June of 2021, he has over 3 million. Let me say that again slower, B-Bisc. 3 million subscribers, where he interviews many largely successful individuals like Matthew McConaughey, Grant Cardone, and many, many more. But he started by taking other people's content and tips and creating these videos that were life-touching, and they touched my life in a very, very important way. He's a motivational speaker. He's been named in Inc. as the top 100 leadership speakers. He's built an extraordinary life, literally studying the moves, traits, and habits of the successful, and this guy is unreal. I cannot wait for this interview.
Dude, he's a powerhouse. I went on YouTube and looked up more of his stuff, and it started to kind of uncover the fact that he is like everywhere and has, you want to talk about content. He's got more content than I probably, dude, I bet you has more content than Grant Cardone.
He's way more, first of all, way more content than Grant. Yeah. And I promise you this, him and Gary Vee are probably very close in line, because Gary Vee started in the wine world and all that other stuff. Yep. But this guy, he's known as just a really amazing person, man. I can't wait to talk to him. Everybody that I've been in contact that actually knows Evan says what an amazing human he is. So I want you guys to pay close attention. I'm sure that the gold you're going to hear is going to change your life, as a lot of the gold he gave me, listen to him on YouTube, changed mine. So let's get into Mr. Evan Carmichael.
Lego.
Hey,
hello. What's up?
Evan Carmichael, what's happening, man?
Gut check, ready to go. Let's do this.
First question, do I look way better on video than I do in pictures, or have you not stalked my Instagram enough yet? Are you looking now, or?
He's looking at his team. Show me his picture. Show me his picture.
When you reach for the mouse, Evan, I know that you haven't seen me yet, so that's fine.
Comment.
Well, Evan, good to have you on, man. Dude, you're a stud. I know that we've kind of back and forth. I don't know, probably talk to your team or you or whatever, but one thing I love about you is that your team always answers, and I love the fact that you do this, man. So great to have you on, brother. So listen, first question for me is very simple. When in 2017, my father passed away, okay? And he was my best friend, still is in heaven. And he's one that kind of motivated me to get out on stage and kind of speak in front of people, because I have a kind of unique story, as we all do, right? So I got on stage one day and I thought to myself, man, I'm looking in the back room. There's a ton of people making a shit ton of money, and there's all these tables set up and everybody's getting rich. And I thought, man, I can really make some money in this, because I was on stage with Les Brown. It was a competition, and I ended up winning the speaking competition. And somebody asked me at the end and said, what was your motivating factor, to start speaking? I said, well, it was my father. He kind of pushed me to get on stage and tell our story. I said, but then when I was on stage, I started looking at people making money in the back. I was like, man, this could be a career for me. But then I caught eyes with one person in the audience. And as I was speaking, she was crying as I was telling my story. And my whole mind shifted from money to impacting lives. When did your mind shift? Because, it's really personal for me, but when did your mind shift, or has it, or has always been that way, to completely wanting to just impact lives?
So, hey, man, thanks for sharing that story. I love it. It's an honor to hear.
Thanks, brother.
For me, it was the opposite. I had to make money a bigger priority, because it's just been service as the default. I believe humans are built to serve, period. I think if you're not happy in life, it's because you're not serving. And we all want to wake up and feel like today matters. That what we're going to make today matter. Everybody, every human, whether you and I want to impact the world, want to have a big giant mission impact, but some people just want to serve the 25 closest people to them. But either way, every human wants to feel like they matter, that they're going to make something today that will have an impact on somebody else's life. Great. That has to be number one. Money is a funny thing. I don't think most people grow up with a healthy perspective on money, myself included. I think some people think money is everything. Money is the only thing that matters. That next person coming into my store, that's my next suit, that's my next car, that's my next purse, whatever. And other people think money is the root of all, evil. Yeah. We've all heard the expression. And it's actually the love of money is the root of all evil, but we forget that part. It's just shorten it to money is the root of all evil. And it's not. Money is not evil. Money is a tool. You need money to do anything. Even charities need money to operate. And so how I've come to interpret it for myself and then teach others is money has to be in your top 5. If you're an entrepreneur, if you want to have success of any kind, money has to be in your top 5. Even if you're a charity, money has to be in your top 5. It just can't be number 1. Number 1 is your mission. Number 1 is the purpose. Number 1 is the impact that you had on that one girl, because in that one girl, there's millions of people who are like that, who will be moved by your message. But how can you, I used to fight with, how do I do both? Like, how do but I want to make money, but I want to have impact, but I want to make money, but they work together. They're not opposite. They're not conflicting. The more money you make, the more people you can go serve. If you back then could turn that part-time speaking thing into a full-time career with a team of people, you're going to reach more people. Me right now, having 36 people on my team, I can reach way more people than just Evan Carmichael by himself making a video. Yeah. And so I had to come up. I came more from the money as everybody had money, were kind of selfish or greedy or did something to cheat people. So money is more the root of evil. And I had to put it into my top 5. But if you got it number 1, just bounce it. Keep it. It's important. Just bounce it from the top spot because there's something more important.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
Love that.
Appreciate that.
So I have a question for you, Evan. So, I'm one of those, I'm kind of nosy and a weirdo in a sense where, if I'm driving around at like 2:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday and there's all these cars on the road, I'm like, damn, don't all these people have like jobs and this and that? And then I see a Ferrari driving down the street. I'm like, damn, I wonder what that dude does for a living. I'm like super, super curious about these things. And as we've talked to some ultra successful people in this world, people's visions and end games have tended to change over time. And oftentimes they didn't see themselves where they are now, even 5 or 10 years ago. So I'm always interested in perspective because it's always changing too. I just want to ask you a simple question just to get to know you a little bit personally. Do you feel like you have quote unquote made it?
I don't really think about that kind of stuff, and bless you. I have a. So what do I think? It's a good question. Never been asked this before. So
love that.
Love that. We win. We win. We get an extra. We get a 5.
Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't left a 5-star review yet, let's go. Get on this. In one sense, my purpose is to solve what I believe to be the world's biggest problem. People don't believe in themselves enough. And that's what I'm trying to unlock. And for the rest of my life, will try to unlock. And I know I'm never going to get there. And every day I wake up trying to get there. So, in that sense, no, I've never made it, and I don't want to make it. I don't want to have accomplished it. One of my favorite quotes is, beyond the mountain is more mountains. I want to climb forever. I don't want to hit the top of the mountain. We know the feeling like for achievers, when you hit a goal, hey, and then, like, what's next? Right. So it's always having, I don't want to ever have made it because I want to always be climbing, always learning, always trying to spread the mission further. On the other hand, I'm so grateful for everything that's happened. A lot of the people that I used to profile on my website, on my YouTube channel, now I'm hanging out with. And, yesterday you talked about Les Brown. I think Les Brown is the greatest speaker of all time.
Me too.
Especially the young Les Brown fire content. I used to think, oh my gosh, I can never be as good as Les Brown. That guy's crazy. Yesterday, he interviewed me for his show. Like, am I being interviewed by Les Brown for his show right now? Like, what? That's awesome. Crazy. Yeah. So in that sense, I've more than made it from whatever my early aspirations were. But then in terms of, mission and where I'm trying to go, it's like nowhere even close.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I know Les personally, like again, he had the Les Brown Institute in Fort Lauderdale. We're in Orlando. It was so short and so sweet when I was actually in Mexico with my wife when I got a call to actually be in the competition to go down there, as I promised my dad I would speak. And, the thing about Les, he's just such a humble guy. And people that know you, Evan, because I don't know you personally, but they always speak so highly of you. Again, we're grateful to have you on. That being said, a lot of times when I reached out to people, I wrote a book and self-published it. And when I reached out to, like, let's say larger end individuals that had scaled already in the social media world, I asked them what they thought of the cover of my book, and none of them responded. Let's just say I reached out to the 10 top people that I knew. None of them responded through IG, and it's usually not them, it's usually the team, et cetera. But you think eventually someone might reply kind of like you did. So I thought to myself, well, because I'm an optimistic, right? But when I get to the point where someone actually wants to reach out to me and talk to me, which thank God has happened in my life now, I always want to be the person that replies, right? So my question to you is this. We started this Gut Check platform very recently. We're going to be on a lot of different platforms. We're very excited about this, but nobody knows who we are. Nobody knows Gut Check, right? And you're always so willing, from what I've heard, and now you're proving that being on our show, to actually take time to actually help people and impact lives. My question to you is, why did you say yes to Gut Check? Because there are a lot of people out there that just don't reply. We have people that say, hey, get to 365 shows, then we'll be on. Hey, build up your social media platform, then we'll be on. Hey, make sure your book is a New York Times bestseller, and then I'll interview you. And there's other people like you just say yes. Why say yes to the little people, if you will?
So probably multi-part answer on that one too. You guys are asking some good ones. For me, it's always a vibe thing. So my team is probably upset that I'm doing this.
I'm sure.
My team probably has all sorts of things that they would love to have me on, and I'm behind on a million projects. And, they'll
be happy eventually, though, Evan. They'll be happy eventually, I promise.
Yeah, just the demands on the time as you get busier and bigger, that's one of the hardest things to constantly figure out. And my biggest fear is disappointing people and letting people down, and part of that happens every day. People would email me their cover or DM me, and I never see it because it's not possible to see everything that comes in, and that somebody might be disappointed by that, tears me up, and I have to keep going. So why do I say yes? It's a vibe thing. I say yes to things that I shouldn't say yes to, but it just feels right. So I say yes to it, and then don't judge it afterwards. Maybe it's the greatest interview of all time with Gut Check. So that was a win. Or maybe it just sucked, right? And I made the wrong call somewhere, and next move on. But I don't look back and say, oh, I wish I did this or didn't do that. So I say yes to people based off of a vibe, period.
Awesome.
I said yes to writing my book based off of a vibe. I said yes to making some videos. It just feels right. And I got into the habit of not judging what feels right and just doing it, even though it doesn't make sense. Just say yes and go, instead of getting locked up in procrastination mode and judging this versus that. It's like, how do I feel? That one, perfect. That's what we're doing. And as a logical, I like thinking through things. That didn't come natural. But I had to learn just to trust the intuition, trust the feeling. So, to be perfectly honest, I didn't even remember you got. I looked at my calendar, Gut Check. Okay, cool, let's go. I made no contacts. I didn't know you on social media, nothing. But whatever you said made an impact. Was it through Instagram that we connected,
sir.
or how?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So whatever your Instagram message was, touched me, and so I said yes, and no to lots of other people. So you're doing something right. Maybe that was your dad kind of putting the extra little pat on the shoulder too, to say, hey, listen to this one. I got a little emotional on that one. I don't know. I've had a second part, but I lost it. But I think that's at the end of the day, what really matters the most is like that you feel good about the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
There are some clients that you'll say yes to that you knew like, oh man, this is not going to be a good deal, but they say the devil always has a bag of cash, right? So you end up taking the wrong thing because you think it's going to pay well, but then you end up just struggling with the wrong people. Yeah. So, and then every now and then you have the right people put in front of you, but it doesn't make logical sense why you should be doing something with them. You just know that you have to follow that intuition and do it. So that's why, like, you said something, maybe you said one word in there that I connected to, and it's like, okay, gut check, yes.
Well, I appreciate you, man, very much for that.
I love that answer, man, because I'm extremely, sometimes to a fault, analytical, logical, paralysis by analysis, so to speak, in multiple different facets of my life, and it's a good reminder, even to me personally, of you have to sometimes put that to the side and just trust your gut and trust your intuition. So I love that. Question, a little bit more of a kind of a tangible, tactical question. Us ourselves, we would like to kind of scale on different social platforms and YouTubes and things of that nature. And there's a lot of people that we listen to, our kind of target audience, are young entrepreneurs and people that are already in business that want to scale and everything like that too. But there obviously people that are putting a lot of content out there, they want to make some money. They want to make money for their time and make a living. How do you balance? Because I saw a ridiculous amount of content that you have on YouTube, all the different gajillion different channels that you have. How do you balance free content versus monetizing content?
I think in terms of monetizing, the two things, bless you, that you want to look at are, one, the free stuff is the beginner stuff. The free stuff is like how to get started on XYZ. Mm-hmm. That's when you're talking to America, right? Mm-hmm. You're trying to help entrepreneurs. You're talking to America, and that's the best free content that you can put up. That's the easiest way to get started. When you put the more advanced stuff, it's going to go over most people's heads. Like, you're talking about all the stuff that I need to do. I don't even understand how to get started, guys. Mm-hmm. So the free stuff is the entry level, how to get started. And they need a constant. People say, well, I already made 14 videos on it. People need a constant reminder. People need that constant touch, that constant boost, because there's nobody else in their life who's doing that for them. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the free content. The paid content, how I would start it if I was you guys, is actually access. Mm. So to have time with you, to be on a coaching call with you, to be able to ask you their specific questions. And even though the answer you give is the same stuff that you might put in the video, it feels different and it feels special because it feels customized for them, and it will be slightly customized for them. Then what you do is you take the most frequent questions that people are giving you that are paid, like the people are coming in and paying you for it, and you turn that into a course or you turn that into a membership. So if everybody's asking you, what are the 5 steps to, how do I network better? I'm just pulling something. How do I network better? And that's what you keep helping people with. And that becomes your course. That becomes your book. That becomes your product. So you start with free content. And I love free content to build the brand and just to give back and help, right? I mean, and you're saying, why do I like helping the little guy? Well, I've helped a lot of the big people, and it's awesome and very humbling that they would listen to me on anything. But my heart is still with the startup entrepreneur, because that's me. Your purpose comes from your pain. Whatever you struggle the most with is what you want to help other people through. So my struggle was being a 19-year-old entrepreneur who didn't believe in himself. So that's, I'm 41 now. I'm still making content to help 19-year-old Evan, who's making $300 a month and would never be able to afford a coaching call, a membership, or anything. So I think in you putting out your free content, it gets people to know who you are. It builds your awareness. It then has people messaging you to say, hey, I love what you're doing. Can I hire you? Do you have a coaching service? How do I get this question answered? And then you start getting paid to do coaching. And then whatever the most common topics are that you're coaching people on, you turn into a program.
Got it. Fantastic advice. Thank you so much.
So, here's the deal, Evan. I've haven't been on as many stages as you, right? And but I've been on cool stages. Which, by the way, I love the fact I watched Matthew McConaughey's interview with you, which was amazing, by the way. And I actually spoke on the same stage as him in 2018 at the City Gala in Los Angeles, and it was pretty cool and empowering to be there because no one, when I mean like no one, probably not even my next door neighbor knew who I was. But so it was pretty cool to get a chance to be there. They had a platform where kind of gave guys like me an opportunity to speak in front of very large crowds and very high level individuals like yourself to kind of give us a chance, if you will, right? To put out there. And through that, I've gained a lot of relationships. For me, I'm a very emotional guy. When I talk about my father, and I saw you getting a little emotional, I talk about him a lot because he was the catalyst that really allowed me to drive myself to that next level. And when he died, I was holding his hand. And I remember sitting to him the day before he passed away. And he said, the day before, he said he was kind of drugged up. They let him go. He says, when I want you to write your book, tell the story, because I've been procrastinating and, writing a few chapters here and there. And he says, I need you to get on stage. And in life, we procrastinate, right? It's just a common habit for a lot of individuals. And it was for me too, to where I'd write a chapter and then I wouldn't write one. And then finally, when my dad I'm holding his hand right before he passes away, and he asked me to write the book. And I remember I couldn't know if he was listening or not, because he was so drugged up, his eyes were closed, and I was talking to him the day before he passed. And when I told him, I said, Dad, I'm going to write the book and I'm going to get on stage. I promise you, no matter what, please just know that before you go, I love you. And I felt 2 squeezes like this. It was crazy how 2 movements like that, just 2 squeezes, lit a fire under me that I've never looked back. It was that same year that I was offered that opportunity in LA. So my question to you is this. I'm a very emotional speaker. I'm very into leadership, by the way, and I love the fact that you're such a high-level leadership speaker. No one needs to go into your accolades because they speak for themselves. My dad was leading me. That was a level of leadership, in my opinion, right? He was leading me to do something that I was procrastinating not doing. How important is leadership? You're one of the top speakers in the world of leadership, and how important is it to be emotionally and personally involved into people's lives that you have the luxury of working with? We say work with, not for, right? No one works for you; they work with you in our world. So, how important is it to have that kind of an emotional and personal relationship with the people that you have the luxury of working with, and how does that impact leadership on a higher level?
Yeah. So, 2 quick things about leadership. One, what would you say is your most important core value as a human?
For us, my core value is loyalty.
Great.
Yeah.
At the core of all of your leadership training is going to be loyalty. If you could train somebody how to be more loyal to themselves first and loyal to the people around them, right? Loyalty begins with self. Mm-hmm. I'm loyal to partly why your dad, that meant so much to you is because you made the commitment to hold that to yourself. Like, I said I'm going to write this book, and I said I'm going to get on this stage, and so I'm going to do that because I'm the kind of person who follows through on the things I commit to myself. Self-loyalty. A lot of people skip that part of loyalty. It's not just loyalty to your organization or your boss or your wife or God or whoever. It's loyalty to self first. So if you can teach people how to be loyal to themselves and then how to be loyal to the people around them, that's more valuable than any skill you're going to teach them how to do. How to get a book deal. You could teach somebody how to do that, or how to get on stage and get booked. You could teach people how to do that, but it's not going to be as valuable to them on a human level as teaching them how to be loyal to self and to the people around them. And at the core of every great mentor or leader is that, figure out what do you stand for the most as a human, your best self on your best day. That's what you want to teach other people and inspire them. And, your dad is probably a really loyal person. And what he gave you, you're basically now injecting bits of your dad into the world. It's like, he's not just squeezing, through squeezing you, he's squeezing everybody that you touch. They're feeling a little bit of him, even though they don't know who he is or what he was about.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So that's the starting point. What do you stand for? That's what you want to teach other people. The second thing about leadership that I love to talk about is, to be a great leader, you have to care more about the people on your team as humans than you care about them winning in your business. You need them to win as people more than win with you. And I see everybody that we meet, we're on these parallel paths together. So us here, we're on this parallel path for this, 20, 25 minutes together. And maybe I never see you again. Maybe we launch the greatest joint venture of all time. But right now we're on this parallel path of this show. And everybody who comes into your life, into your businesses, you're on a parallel path with them. And your goal should be to understand what their goals are and help them accomplish it. And sometimes that's with you. Sometimes the best thing they can do is be with you for the rest of your lives, because you make each other better. Maybe the two of you make each other better. You complement each other, you bounce off each other, and you're better together than you are individually. But maybe at some point, the person with you should leave. They'd actually be better served going somewhere else. That they love working with you, but it's actually limiting them because they've got something greater calling them that you have to go push them away to go off and do. And I think that is the core of leadership, when you can love people and want them to win more than you want them to win with you. When people feel that, you get their hearts and their souls, where most people just show up with their brains. You get everything because they know that you want them to win, and they're not questioning the loyalty.
Yeah.
Right. And that's hard. And that's not, I don't think, taught in schools, but really you just have to care for the person in front of you and want them to win as a person. And if you make that your goal, that if people are around me, they're going to level up. Anybody who comes in contact with me has to level up. If you're on my team, you need to level up as a person. Otherwise, I'm a failure as a leader. I don't care if you did all the work that you were supposed to do. If you're still mindset-wise, habit-wise, routine-wise in the same spot that you were last year, that's my fault. And it's accepting responsibility for their lives. I think that's a good leader. I think that's a good husband. I think that's a good father. I think that's what leaders do.
Love that, brother.
Yeah, big time. So I'm curious to know, again, I like to get to know people as personally as I can in a short amount of time, and I appreciate your time so far. I know we're almost done here. But so you've got a lot of different projects going on. You've got a ton of content. You've done a ton of speaking. You've got your tentacles, so to speak, in many different facets of business. But I'm curious to know, just for you personally, what, maybe kind of a two-part question. What is, if you had to pick, that like the most important part of your business that you are most passionate about, that matters most for you, and kind of what do you see like 5 years down the road? What is like a big goal you've got for the thing that matters most for you in your business? Just curious to know.
So I'm not a big believer in 5-year goals or 10-year goals. I'm about mission. So what am I doing for the rest of my life? Because if you're growing, think about where you were 5 years ago. Do you think the people that you were 5 years ago could with any certainty predict that you're going to be here doing this show, talking to some of your favorite people, getting on stage, impacting lives? Like, I'm not going to do that. So you've already proven yourself to be an impossibility to former you. So what makes you have the audacity to think that you know where you're going to be in 5 years? You could get there, but it's probably going to be really small compared to what you're actually capable of. That if you keep growing and learning and improving and getting better, you're going to look at your 5-year goal and say, wow, I could get that. That's pretty easy. Where now it feels like it's an impossibility. So I'm not a big believer in 5-year goals or 10-year goals. It's what am I trying to accomplish? I want to solve the world's biggest problem. People don't believe in themselves enough. And then what am I doing right now? That's it. What am I most excited about right now? Talking to you guys on Gut Check. Let's go.
Love that, brother. Well, listen, one last question, because we're very, very respectful of time and we're very honored to have you here. And this is a serious question, so I want you to take some thought into this, okay? We have available August 5th, 12th and the 26th to be on your show on YouTube. What time's best for you to have us on there? At noon, 1 o'clock, or 3 p.m. one of those days?
I have no idea. I'm mission, and what am I doing right now? August, but actually that's the legit. I mean, I get you're joking with the question, but I don't know what I'm doing in 5 minutes, let alone what I'm doing in August, right? Like August might as well be 5 years from now.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
Definitely a good problem to have. Well, dude, listen, we're so honored to have you on, man. Thank you so much. We wish we had tons of time with you, and hopefully we will sooner or later, right? You're a blessing to everybody. And just to let you know before we get off, man, you know, to get personal, when my dad did pass, I looked up motivational stuff in order to like get my mind right on YouTube. And it was you and Les Brown. And I'm sure you know this now with marketing and everything else, but it was you and Les Brown. And a lot of the stuff that you posted, it was, again, a lot of other people's content that you made touch my life, because I heard it on their channels. I heard it. it didn't impact me the way yours did. So I want to give you massive kudos because I know you started very small and you've scaled to something big. You impacted my life in a way you could never imagine. And when it was you and Les Brown, listening to you and Les Brown and all your videos over and over and over and over again, dude, I told Brandon before I got there, I go, listen, we've had tons of guests on here so far, some really very lucky to have some high-level people. I was nervous to talk to you because I was so... I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm a tattooed tough guy. I was starstruck. What you've done and how you impact lives is amazing, man. So I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart because you were a catalyst also in listening to you through YouTube, allowing me to thrive. So thank you so much.
Appreciate that, man. And you know, my hairs are standing up as you're talking. So that's why I try to do what I do. And just one quick last thought. I know we got to go, but we tend to, at the beginning of our journeys, and I know Brandon mentioned kind of we're little guys and just starting, we tend to believe that our work doesn't matter and isn't reaching people because the downloads and the views are not where we want it to be and are not like whoever, right? There's always somebody who's bigger and better than you. We tend to believe that our work's not valuable. I would love to shift the narrative to just assuming that it's actually touching somebody's life. That if 50 people watch your video and we see that as a giant failure, like, oh man, only 50 people saw, that maybe for 2 of those people, that's actually a life-changing moment for them. The way that you said your story, the tone you used, the words you used, this moment in time right now, that was the thing that actually struck a chord and had an impact for them. You know, I hadn't met you guys before, and however many years ago that was, you know, that my videos touched you. Now, X number of years later, I'm only finding out that it had an impact. And so that's you guys right now. And that's everybody else listening who's about to start their show. That in 5 years, someone's going to tell you episode 2 with this person was the one that was the unlock for me. And it's just a mindset shift as a creator to say, 50 people watch my video. That doesn't mean I suck. That means 2 people or 3 people, their lives are changed because I put this out there and I need to keep going.
Thank you.
Amazing message.
Thank you, brother. Well, Evan, thank you so much for being on. I don't want to speak for Brandon, but dude, it's an honor. And if 20 minutes allows this type of impact in lives, I can't imagine what an hour or 3 hours or a month or a year would be with you. So thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys. How
Thanks,
many
Evan.
episodes have you
Appreciate
done?
you.
We've recorded about 27 right now, and we're going to launch our first 10 on July 11th on 19 different podcast platforms. So we'll send it to your assistant with the marketing material.
127. I'm back.
I love that.
127. This is now my lucky number. 27. 127. We'll do round 2.
Done.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much, Evan.
Don't take 4 years to get there.
Oh, wait, trust me. We're running, brother. We're running. We'll see you
Okay.
soon.
Much love, guys.
All right,
you.
man. Thanks, Evan.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Whew. Well, I don't know about you, dude.
Evan
I
Carmichael.
was. It's like when the guy speaks, you just have to listen, right? He has that type of presence.
I just want to just put out there, and I don't really brag often.
You win the award.
However,
You win the award.
Evan Carmichael, literally, I don't know. I'm guessing he's done thousands of interviews and podcasts.
Probably hundreds of thousands.
I asked him a question, and he goes, I've never been asked that before.
You win.
Yeah! Damn!
Shit.
I had to throw one of those in there, bro. I mean, God, I felt great. All right, I'm done, bro. I'm done bragging.
Listen,
not really.
You guys heard it. I mean, he said it. It was real. And he also we had a lot of very good questions, but I loved how emotional the guy is because it's like he feels you. And it's not an act. Some people you talk to and you're like, dude, that's an act. You know what I mean? That guy's full of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Evan is just so real. He's a type of guy, man, for 20, 25 minutes, whatever the show was, he wants to impact lives. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, okay? When I reached out to Evan and his team replied and Evan contacted us, his team sends a video that's a private link that tells you what he wants, there's 6 steps to what he wants for a podcast to really kind of follow. He doesn't tell you to follow, but just suggestions, if you will. And we had this whole introduction ready to go. This guy's a many million followers. And he goes, dude, listen, it doesn't matter. He goes, all the accolades, they don't matter. What matters is the time with you guys. And let me tell you something. He lived up to everything that I thought that he was, now that I know that he is.
Dude, big time. I would tell you this. If you listen to this on the audio, it was amazing. That being said, this is one of them. I think one that we've recorded so far, probably the one that means the most in terms of you really, if you can see him, he's a thinker, and he really delivers as far as content, as far as the meaningfulness, if that's a word, behind his words. because when we would ask the question, he would kind of like look, you can tell when he's looking at his team, and you can tell when he's just really, really searching for the right, what's really on his mind and what's going to be the most impactful. So if it's not up there, it will be soon, but go on their YouTube channel and check it out, because it just had a massive impact on me. There's a difference between a phone call and sitting, seeing someone's face, and you can just tell the level of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I'm looking for a word. I don't know. Anyways, I screwed that part of this whole.
I wish you could just hurry up, because now we're.
But it's just like impactful. You could just see in his eyes that it mattered. The conversation matters, and he probably was doing 20 shows the same day he was doing ours. So it was cool to see.
Optimistically, I'm going to say that ours was the only show. He just only had 25 minutes on Thursday.
It's a great assumption to make. He did say to make assumptions that you're impacting everyone and make the right assumptions for your business.
Yeah,
And I'm just going to go ahead and assume.
And he also said that
we're the only people in his life that matters.
Well, I'm pretty sure. But he also said it's a vibe, right? He talked about just making a gut feeling, that kind of vibe, right, that he feels from people. Because we asked the question to him that I think is going to be a question that we ask a lot of guests in the future that are of his level is why? Why say yes, right? And he said he got a vibe. He also said a couple things that I really just stumped me.
Because I want to talk about.
Well, I won't. I know this isn't yours. I promise you. But he says if you're not happy in life, you're not serving, right? And I knew that when I got on stage that time, we were talking, about my father and how I felt and getting emotional and connecting with people. I know that. I know that feeling. He's right. I mean, to be truly happy, you have to be serving. And when he got into the leadership portion, which, may or may not be what you want to get into, it was like, I felt it. He was like, you have to love the people that are in your environment, and you have to help them scale, because if you don't have them scale, then you failed as a leader. You have to be within yourself happy before you can make other people happy, right?
Yep, 100%. And no, you didn't steal mine, so that's perfect.
The
thing that I haven't heard this before, and it was genius. I asked the question about, where he sees himself 5 years, blah, blah, blah. And he says, you've already proven to he asked, 5 years ago, did you think you'd be where you are? And we're shaking our heads. Hell no, of course not. Yeah. He goes, you've already proven to yourself that you are an impossibility to your former self.
That was crazy.
Which is fire.
I don't know how you wrote it down as fast, because I was hoping you did, because that's probably
fire.
One of the best things I've ever heard.
Yeah, and he said, here's the two things I care about and that I pay attention to: my mission and what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
Period.
Which I missed the close too, though. Did you hear that? Like I said, we have availability August 5th, 12th. He goes, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I should have said, well, we're open today at 6 p.m. I was stumped. I missed the close.
Still.
We trained people leadership and how to sell, and Evan Carmichael closed me. Evan, if you ever need a job at Make Sales Great Again and to be a sales training coach, we have that availability for you, because you care about the people and you close the closer. So that was good. But listen, guys, go back and listen to it time and time again, please. This is one you are not going to want to miss. Like Brandon said, visually, go on YouTube, watch it, see it, and then do yourselves a favor. Go find Evan Carmichael. Okay, he's got 3 million subscribers, so we're not just doing this to boost up his following, because he doesn't need us to do that. Okay, but I mean it. Go follow Evan Carmichael. Look up his YouTube page if you're feeling some type of way. It's not just all motivational stuff, okay? I mean, this guy literally teaches you how in business and motivation and in life, and he cares so much that everything he says comes with real authenticity as he speaks. Please go follow this guy.
100%.
Evan Carmichael, we love you, man. Thank you for saying yes. We are so honored and grateful. And thank you guys that listened to the first episode of Gut Check. We got a lot more fun shit coming.
And if you think you got something to say that can impact somebody, go fucking do it.
Yeah.
Who cares about 2 viewers, 5 viewers, 10 viewers? Go build a podcast, go on social, go do something, because he made a very clear point and a really, really good suggestion. Who gives a fuck about all the subscribers and all that bullshit? You impact a couple people, you've done your job, and you should feel good about it. So,
and do me a favor, one last favor, guys. This is our first episode. Put some comments below about what you feel about Gut Check, and give us some advice. We're open to criticism. We're open to anything. We're just grateful that you're listening. We love each and every one of you guys. Please subscribe to Gut Check. We got a lot more fun stuff coming.
It's a motherfucking Gut Check.
That wasn't good.
Was it good?
The first one was better.
I know.
Right.
I tried to add in the cursing, so it sounded cooler.
It wasn't cooler.
I know. That's right.
If you love this guest as much as we did, please follow them on all their social media platforms.